Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a first impression on the new Certifeye Affinity 2 palette which arrived today. This palette is so beautiful. It is a combination of like 9 pans, well not exactly, but close to 9 pans of blue, 9 pans of green. There are shimmers, there are mattes, there are duochromes, and I'm just so excited. Even the packaging is so beautiful. It's like this silver metallic, and then the front does say dream without fear, love without limits, which I think is super cute. And then you've got all the information on the back. Super sleek. It's basically like the same kind of packaging as all their other palettes. Wait, you guys have to see this. Okay, so here's the Affinity 1 and the Affinity 2 together. They are just so beautiful. I'm actually overwhelmed by how beautiful these two palettes look together, so I just had to show you really quickly. So before we jump into all the details on the palette, I just have a few things to say really quickly. First off, I changed my lighting. I added some softbox lights and I think it looks a lot brighter. I know it must look brighter because I feel like I'm staring into the sun and I'm like, don't think about it, because I don't want to cry. Because I have sensitive eyes and the lights are just so bright. Even talking about it is making it worse for me. So definitely let me know if you like the new lighting. I feel like from what I've seen it looks pretty good, but I haven't edited or put it on my computer or anything yet. I just took some test shots with my camera, so I'm happy with it so far. Also, please, if you do hear a really tiny buzzing sound in the background, let me know and I'll see what I can do to fix it. I do hear just the tiniest sound from the lights, which is frustrating and annoying because I'm like so particular, like trying to have the best sound that I possibly can. And I'm not sure if my mic is going to pick up on it or not. It does kind of have a setting to where hopefully it won't pick up on it, but if you hear it, please let me know. So I think that's everything I had to mention non-related to the palette. Now let's go ahead and jump into all the details on the Affinity 2. So I can't really talk about shipping time because this was a pre-order. I bought it months ago and it shipped, well, I guess I could talk about shipping time. It shipped like April 18th, I think, or something around there is what it was promised to ship. And I think I got an email about April 20th, which I actually, I ordered this like the very first day it launched and I got it today, which is May 1st. So that's how long it took. And I don't know what was wrong with me. The day that I purchased this palette, I paid for tracked shipping. Like I paid like £5 more for tracked shipping. Who am I? I never do that. I don't know. I must have been in a rare mood or something, but yes. So I guess it took like 2 weeks to get to me, which is not bad at all. And then I also wanted to just quickly tell you the details of the palette. It retails for £32, which is about $42 US. If you buy through the Certifeye website, you can use the code Angelica to save 10% off, I believe. I'm pulling out my email. Yes, Angelica will save you 10% off, or £3.20 if you want to get specific. But I did go ahead and pay £9.80 for shipping and handling, and then my order total was £38.60, which is like, I believe it was around $50 or so for this palette, which I feel like to me definitely puts it in a high-end like pricing. I have no problem paying more and paying for shipping, but it does kind of make it like I want to love the palette and make it worth it. So I think that is everything about this, other than the fact that I did want to mention it's also cruelty-free and vegan, and it has a total net weight of 0.9 ounces. So this palette does contain 18 shades. There are 13 mattes and 5 shimmers. I would say at least one of the shimmers are a duochrome, which would be this shade right here. It looks to be like a green that has like a really deep red base to it. And this shade right here, which is called Certifeye, is a white, and it looks like it has a blue base to it. So I think that's a duochrome as well, just from looking at it, but I have not swatched the palette yet or anything. We'll do that together. This is literally the most minuscule con ever, but I will say just for right off the bat, you do kind of have to move the palette around and make sure it's in the perfect light in order to read the names, because they do kind of muddle together with the glitter background. That might just be me because I don't have that great of vision, but that is something that I noticed. But let's just go ahead and jump into swatches. All right, so we have Nawab, Hussein, and Aftab. If you're curious about the names, I believe that the owner is Muslim, and the names are all based off of important men in her life, which I think is like the cutest idea. Ooh. That was pigmented. Whew. Okay, we're off to a great start. I totally forgot to mention, but I actually did get the Linda Halberry Spectral palette today, and I posted on Instagram and said like dilemma and asked you guys what you wanted to see first, and it has been neck and neck all day, and 51% was Affinity 2, 49% was Spectral, so I will do my best to get Spectral up maybe on Saturday if I can. So that's why I'm doing Certifeye first, because it won. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do try to do polls every once in a while and stuff to get people's opinion. So it's just at AMYLOVESmakeup. So next row here is Munir. I'm so sorry if I say any of these names wrong. Navid. I feel like there was someone in Degrassi named Navid. And then Parid. Oh, that's actually like a purple. I wasn't expecting that, but I kind of love it. Next we have Ijaz, Semob, and Akib. All looking really pigmented right now. Next we have Nadim, Alber, which look at this shade, like I'm so excited about that green. Super creamy too, and Shiraz. Looks a little patchy in that swatch, but that shade in general is just like the coolest color. I just literally swatched 2 different shades on one finger. Let me do that over again. Okay, we have Schmal, Fraz, and Bilal. The shade Bilal look kind of like a shimmer in the pan, but I would say looking at it, it's more of a satin. I would say you could probably get away with using that as a matte. Last but not least, we have Shazad, Shuhaib, the duochrome, which feels so creamy, ooh, and Shafai. Alright, there's the duochrome, which on the finger, I'll show you guys close-up finger swatch of that in a moment of the 2 duochromes because they look really beautiful and sometimes you can't tell as much in like this artificial lighting. There's some of the shimmers up close just to show you. Like that duochrome is so beautiful. Alright, so there are all the swatches, and I think the palette is looking very promising right now. Of course, swatches aren't everything, but just from past experiences with some of the other certified palettes, I feel like sometimes there are shades that don't swatch as well, or just a few shades here and there that are like way lighter, or they're not as pigmented, or some of the shades that look really deep in the palette, when you swatch them, they'll be kind of light and sheer, and I feel like all the shades here swatched pretty true to what they look like in the pan, and they're really beautiful. And I think like this purple here is definitely like, I didn't realize that was a purple, but it's like a fun little pop of just adding a little something extra in here. So very, very excited about this color scheme. I literally complain about how my camera doesn't focus really well all the time, and I'm really curious to see if the problem is fixed, because I'm literally the dumbest person alive and I don't know how I have a like YouTube channel, because I'm so technologically challenged. This whole time my camera has not been in video mode. Like for months it has not been in video mode because I don't use my camera for anything except YouTube. Also, if you think my face makeup looks really bad or dry or just weird, I've had it on all day. The only thing I didn't do was my eyes, waiting to film with this tonight. So that's what happened. I know my skin looks a little bit dry, but it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this light blue right here called Nawab. I definitely got some kickback, so I tapped off the excess, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in my crease. I'm just starting off with Windshield Micro Motions, but this is one of those shades that'll probably apply a lot better with a packing motion. Oh, that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and build that shade up just a little bit. Applying really good, super smooth. I'm going to go ahead and take this Hussein blue next. Again, just went ahead and dusted off the extra shadow, but I'm going to go ahead and take that a little bit lower in my crease. So I'm just packing that shade on first. Just gonna go in with my previous brush and just blend over that edge. Now I'm gonna take this really deep blue called a Kib, and I'm going to focus that on my outer part of my eye right here, just to add some definition. Just gonna start by like buffing in circular motions, and then I'll add more color as I need it. Just kind of making my little shape there, and then I will blend it out in a moment. Alright, and now I'm just going in with my previous brush and just gonna blend out the edge, but I'm gonna try and keep that shape as much as I can. I feel like today I kind of like, I mean, obviously this is going to be a kind of bold look, but also I still want to do something like kind of simple and not like as bold as I could possibly do with this palette, but don't worry, you will definitely see it more on my channel. And there will be plenty of crazy bold looks coming. Just going back and forth to blend that out a little bit, just using tiny circular motions. And then again, just going back with my first brush and just blending even a little bit more. I'm gonna start off with this light shimmery blue off top on the lid. Just gonna go ahead and tap that. Oh, I didn't tap off my excess. Gosh, okay. Just gonna tap that on the lid. I'm using a bigger fluffy brush because I don't want it to be too precise. That's pretty. It's not like the lightest blue ever. It's kind of like a good mid-tone. It'd be pretty on a lot of skin tones. I would say it's pretty much like a true shimmer formula, not super metallic. I'm going to go ahead and dip into that shimmer Shuhaib, and I'm just going to tap that over just to see, because it feels creamy, but it feels a little thinner. Yeah, that kind of adds like a little green, like reflect. That's so pretty. I'm going to tap over that with the brush I use for the blue just to make sure it's blended in, but that is a really pretty topper. Now I'm going to grab this green shade called Shmal or Shmal and I'm going to go ahead and run that along my lower lash line. I'm gonna grab this teal shade here called Nadim. I'm going to put that like super close to the lash line and just buff that in for a little extra depth. I'm gonna grab this green satin right here called Bailal, and I'm gonna pop that on like the inner part of the lid right here, or the lower lash line. That's pretty. I got like the tiniest bit of fallout, but almost nothing. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab Chiffé, and I'm going to pop that on my inner corner. Yep, it's got a pretty blue reflect to it. This makes my heart happy. This shade is a little bit powdery, but just tap off the excess and it looks good. Now I'm going to take the deepest blue shade right here called Ijaz. And I'm going to just lightly stamp that along the lower lash line. Or sorry, why can't I remember what my eye descriptions are today? I'm just placing that along the lash line, the upper lash line, just for a little bit of like a smoke liner kind of look. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw the LA Girl Mermaid Blue liner into my waterline. Alright, quickly off camera, I'm going to go ahead and throw on some mascara and lashes and I'll be right back. Alright, for highlight, I'm going to go ahead and take the BH Blacklight palette, and I'm going to take this blue shade right here called Queen. And then for lips, I'm going to go ahead and take Colourpop Luxe Lipstick in Stone Fox, which is like a light cool tone pink, and I'm going to kind of just dab it on. I'm not going to go fully opaque with that shade, and then I'm going to top it off with the Angelic holographic lip gloss from Flower Beauty. Alright guys, so this is the finished look using the Affinity 2 palette, and I really love how it turned out. I feel like my lashes look a little wonky, but when do they not? I just want to reiterate that this is just a first impression, not a review by any means. I've only used a few shades in the palette, but I will say that so far I am impressed. I really liked how it turned out. Everything was pigmented, easy to blend. I didn't have any problems with patchiness. I feel like in the past with the other certified palettes that I've used, and I will get into this at the end of the month because this month is kind of like certified month on my channel. I'm going to try and do 2 looks with every palette, and I'm going to do a full review video on all my certified palettes and comparisons and everything at the end of the month. So if you're curious to hear my full thoughts on this, I want to do another like 2 looks or 3 looks using this, but at the end of the month I'll include a review, so stay tuned for that. I feel like some of the other palettes from Certifeye, in general, the formula is just so much easier if you go from darkest to lightest shades, but whenever I swatched this, I found it like the shades just felt so creamy and pigmented and nice that I just wanted to kind of do them in the way that I personally like naturally do eyeshadow, which is like the lightest shade first and then medium and then deeper in the outer V. Super simple, but that's just how I like to do it most of the time, and I felt like it actually worked really well. Like I said, no patchiness, everything just blended on top of each other really well, and I'm really happy with the finished look. The shimmers are just that, I would say shimmers, not super metallic. I will try wetting them. This shade I am in love with, like the topper shade. I think it just added a really beautiful, like little, not glittery, but it just added a little something different, a little shift to the look, and I'm excited to see if I can build that up and use it on its own and just play around with that shade. And then, like I said, this one, it is a little powdery, but just like having that inner corner blue duochrome shade makes me so happy, because like there are so many palettes that have kind of like either blues or green color schemes, and I'm like, this is almost perfect, but I wish there was like a really light duochrome. So the fact that this does have that makes me super happy. So I definitely have to keep playing with this, and like I said, I'll update you guys at the end of the month. But so far so good, no immediate problems. But I think that is everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.